Beloved friends, there comes a time in every person's life when they realize that the greatest battle they face is not against the world, not against other people, not even against circumstances, but against the chaos within. We live in a world full of distractions. Everyone is telling you who to be, how to think, what to chase, and what success should look like. But the truth is, the moment you stop chasing the noise of others and start focusing on your own growth, your own purpose, and your own spiritual alignment, everything else begins to fall into place. When you focus on yourself, you begin to understand that change doesn't start on the outside, it begins within your heart. The transformation of your life always begins with the transformation of your inner world. You cannot expect peace outside if there is turmoil within. You cannot expect direction in life if your own soul is lost. The greatest investment you can make is in your inner strength, your spiritual clarity, and your mental peace. When your inner world is right, your outer world will follow. Too often, we compare ourselves to others. We look at their success and wonder why ours hasn't come yet. We see their happiness and question our own, but comparison is a thief. It steals joy, peace, and focus. You were created uniquely with a purpose and path that belongs only to you. The moment you take your eyes off others and look deeply within yourself, into your gifts, your calling, your connection with the Creator, you begin to rise into the person you were meant to be. The seeds of greatness are already planted within you. They simply need focus, faith, and discipline to grow. My friends, it's time to stop waiting for others to validate your worth. Stop depending on external applause to feel valuable. You are already valuable because of what's within you. The world will recognize your light only when you begin to believe in your own fire. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. When you take care of your mind and spirit, when you discipline your thoughts, and when you align your heart with purpose, life starts working for you, not against you. When you focus on yourself, you stop fighting unnecessary battles. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You find joy in silence, strength in patience, and peace in your own company. The storms of life may still come, but they no longer shake your foundation, because your foundation is no longer built on the opinions of others. It's built on faith, growth, and self-understanding. And when that happens, everything, relationships, opportunities, success, and peace falls into its rightful place. So today, make a decision to return to yourself. Focus not on what the world wants from you, but on who you are becoming. Nurture your inner world, water your dreams, and believe that when you grow in silence, life will echo your transformation loudly. The journey of 1,000 blessings begins when you stop running after everything and start focusing on yourself. For when your heart is right, everything else aligns in divine order. When you focus on your inner peace, clarity, and purpose, your external life begins to mirror that harmony. The truth is, everything we experience on the outside is a reflection of what's happening within. Many people spend their entire lives trying to fix the outside world, chasing money, relationships, validation, and recognition, but they neglect the one place that truly determines the outcome of everything else, the heart. The inner world is the foundation upon which the outer world is built. When your thoughts are confused, your emotions unsettled, and your spirit weary, it shows up in your daily life. But when your mind is calm, your purpose is clear, and your soul is centered, life begins to align itself in ways you never imagined. It's not magic, it's the law of alignment. When the inner world becomes peaceful, decisions are made with wisdom instead of impulse. Actions flow from conviction instead of confusion. You stop running in circles trying to control everything, because you begin to trust that when you are centered within, the right things will find their way to you. That's why the greatest work you can ever do is inner work. The way you speak to yourself, the thoughts you feed your mind, the beliefs you hold, these are not small things. They are the building blocks of your destiny. If you carry resentment, fear, or self-doubt inside, they will create resistance in your outer world. But if you fill your heart with gratitude, forgiveness, and faith, that energy will ripple through everything you touch. Sometimes we pray for change, asking life to shift, people to improve, and circumstances to turn in our favor. Yet, the real transformation starts the moment we decide to shift internally. When you begin to cultivate inner peace, external chaos loses its power over you. When you focus on clarity within, confusion outside can no longer dominate your path. When your purpose becomes clear, you no longer wander aimlessly through life. Instead, you begin to attract the right people, opportunities, and timing, all because you have become a magnet of stability and direction. The truth is, The outer world responds to your vibration. If you are constantly filled with worry, you will attract situations that keep you anxious. If you are filled with doubt, life will mirror back uncertainty. But when your heart is filled with peace, your steps become steady. When you operate from purpose, your decisions carry power. When you see life through faith instead of fear, the path ahead starts to unfold naturally. That's when everything begins to fall into place. Not because life suddenly became perfect, but because you finally became aligned with it. You begin to realize that focusing on yourself is not selfish, it's sacred. It means you are taking responsibility for your energy, your attitude, and your growth. It means you no longer allow external circumstances to dictate your peace. It means you choose to respond with grace instead of reaction, patience instead of panic. This inner mastery transforms your reality more deeply than any external achievement could. People will sense your calmness. Doors will open without you forcing them. What used to frustrate you will no longer move you. That's the power of inner alignment. It creates a silent strength that guides your steps and attracts the right flow. There's a beautiful mystery in this. When you stop chasing everything and start aligning within, life begins to chase you. Opportunities that once seemed distant begin to draw near. Relationships that drained you begin to fade, and those that uplift you begin to appear. Problems that once overwhelmed you suddenly seem smaller because you've grown stronger on the inside. The outer world simply adjusts to match the frequency of your inner peace. You find that the same circumstances no longer control you because you now control the way you perceive them. That's the true power of focusing within. It changes not only what you see, but how you see it, and that changes everything around you. Comparison is one of the quietest destroyers of peace and progress. It sneaks into our minds, whispering that we are not enough, that someone else is doing better, that our pace is too slow or our efforts too small. It blinds us to our blessings and makes us forget the unique purpose that has been placed within us. When you constantly measure yourself against others, you rob yourself of the joy that comes from growth. The truth is, no two people are walking the same path. Every person's journey is shaped by their own battles, lessons, timing, and grace. To compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20 is to misunderstand the divine process of growth that life has chosen for you. When you stop comparing, you start living. You begin to appreciate who you are becoming instead of constantly chasing who someone else already is. The human heart was not designed to thrive under the weight of comparison. It was designed to create, to love, to believe, and to grow. But comparison turns that creative energy into envy and that joy into dissatisfaction. It is a thief that enters quietly and leaves loudly. You may not notice it at first, but slowly it steals your confidence, your creativity, and your peace. It makes you forget that your value doesn't depend on applause or approval. Your worth is rooted in who you are, not in how you measure up against others. When you compare yourself to others, you stop trusting your own journey. You begin to rush, to force things, to abandon the patience that true growth requires. You start to think that if you just copy what someone else did, you'll get their results. But every destiny is customized. What works for another may not work for you because your soil, your season, and your calling are different. A seed planted in winter will not bloom the same way as one planted in spring. Your timing is divine, and until you trust that, you'll always feel behind. The moment you realize that your path is your own, peace returns to your heart. You start to move at your own rhythm, no longer driven by competition, but by conviction. Freedom from comparison is not about ignoring others. It's about celebrating them without losing sight of yourself. It's learning to applaud someone else's success without letting it diminish your own. You can admire someone's light without questioning your own shine. When you truly focus on your growth, you realize that another person's success doesn't take anything away from you. There is enough space, grace, and opportunity in this world for everyone to rise. The same God who blessed them has a unique blessing designed for you. When you understand that truth deeply, envy fades and gratitude grows. You begin to focus not on what you lack, but on what you already have. And that is the moment abundance begins to multiply in your life. Comparison often comes from fear of missing out, fear of being left behind, fear of not being enough. But fear is not your truth. The moment you let faith replace fear, you stop comparing and start creating. You realize that your energy is too precious to waste on what others are doing. You begin to invest it into becoming who you are meant to be. The more you focus on your personal growth, the more joy and fulfillment you experience. You stop competing and start evolving. You no longer chase recognition, you chase purpose. You stop seeking validation from the outside and start nurturing validation from within. When you let go of comparison, you give yourself permission to grow at your own pace. You allow yourself to make mistakes, to learn, to heal, and to improve without shame. You become patient with your process because you understand that growth is not a race, it's a journey. Every small step forward is sacred. Every lesson learned is valuable. Every setback carries wisdom. You start to walk with peace in your heart, knowing that you are right where you need to be. You realize that success is not about being ahead of others, but about becoming the best version of yourself. And once you embrace that truth, the burden of comparison falls away, and in its place comes peace, gratitude, and quiet confidence, the kind that can never be shaken by what anyone else achieves. When you truly believe in yourself, you awaken a strength that has been waiting quietly within you all along. There are seeds of potential, creativity, and greatness inside every human being, but they remain dormant until belief calls them to life. The power of self-belief is not arrogance, it is awareness, an understanding that you have been created with purpose, and that purpose carries everything you need to succeed. Many people spend their lives waiting for someone else to believe in them before they dare to move. They wait for approval, applause, or reassurance, but real transformation begins the moment you choose to believe in yourself even when no one else does. That kind of belief is not dependent on circumstances. It is rooted in faith. Faith that you were not made by mistake and that what is within you is enough to overcome what is around you. When you believe in yourself, you stop seeing obstacles as endings and start seeing them as invitations to grow. Challenges no longer intimidate you because you understand they are shaping your strength. Every setback becomes a lesson, every delay a preparation, every failure a teacher. Without belief, even small difficulties look impossible. But with belief, even mountains seem movable. It changes your energy, your posture, and your words. You begin to speak differently, think differently, and act differently. Confidence replaces fear. Vision replaces confusion, and hope replaces despair. What once seemed far becomes reachable because belief gives wings to action. It turns dreams into decisions and intentions into impact. Many people underestimate the power of mindset. They think success is about talent, luck, or opportunity. But the truth is, even the most gifted person will fail if they doubt themselves. The mind is the soil in which every dream grows. If you plant seeds of doubt, you harvest hesitation. But if you plant seeds of belief, you harvest courage. When you start telling yourself, I can, your mind begins to search for ways to make it happen. But when you keep saying, I can't, your mind shuts down possibility. Belief doesn't mean everything will be easy. It means you are willing to stand firm when things are not. It gives you resilience, persistence, and the ability to rise again after falling. You begin to realize that your strength doesn't come from perfection, but from your willingness to keep going despite imperfection. Self-belief also unlocks creativity. When you stop doubting yourself, new ideas begin to flow. You dare to experiment, to express, to create without fear of judgment. Many dreams die not because people lacked skill, but because they lacked belief. They gave up before they began, assuming failure before even trying. But when you believe, you give life a chance to surprise you. You become more willing to step into the unknown because you trust your inner guidance. You start to see that you don't need to have everything figured out before you start. You just need to take one step in faith, and the next will reveal itself. That's how belief transforms your entire path, by keeping you moving when others stop. Believing in yourself also changes how you relate to others. When you are secure within, you no longer seek constant validation. You stop competing and start collaborating. You can celebrate others' success without feeling smaller because you know your time will come. You stop begging for acceptance because you've already accepted yourself. That kind of quiet confidence attracts the right people and opportunities into your life. The world respects those who know who they are and what they carry. Your energy begins to shift. Instead of asking, will I be chosen? You begin to declare, I am ready. That simple shift from doubt to confidence changes the way the world responds to you. Focusing on spiritual and personal discipline is one of the most powerful ways to build stability in a world that is constantly shifting. Discipline may not sound exciting, but it is the silent force that keeps your dreams alive when motivation fades. It is what helps you stay consistent when emotions fluctuate, when the road feels long, and when results take time to appear. Faith without discipline is like a fire without fuel. It burns brightly for a moment, then quickly fades. Discipline gives direction to your faith. It transforms good intentions into daily actions, and those actions over time become the foundation of peace, growth, and strength. True discipline is not about control, it is about commitment. It's the willingness to keep showing up, even when no one is watching, even when you don't feel inspired. It is waking up every morning and choosing purpose over comfort, focus over distraction, and progress over procrastination. Discipline is not just about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. It creates order in your mind and balance in your spirit. When you live without discipline, your emotions rule you and life feels chaotic. But when you cultivate discipline, you begin to rule your emotions instead of being ruled by them. That shift changes everything. Because when your inner world is steady, no external storm can shake you. Spiritual discipline adds another layer of strength to this foundation. It means spending quiet time in reflection, prayer, or meditation, grounding yourself before you face the noise of the world. It means feeding your soul with truth and wisdom rather than negativity and fear. When you discipline your spirit to stay connected to your inner source of peace, you stop reacting impulsively to life's ups and downs. Instead, you respond with clarity, patience, and faith. Every challenge becomes a lesson rather than a setback. Every delay becomes preparation rather than punishment. Discipline trains your heart to trust the process and to stay calm in uncertainty. You begin to understand that progress is not always visible, but it is always happening beneath the surface when you remain consistent. Many people start strong but give up when results don't come quickly. They forget that true growth happens quietly and gradually. A seed planted today doesn't bloom tomorrow, but that doesn't mean it's not growing. Discipline teaches you to keep watering your seed, even when you don't yet see the fruit. It gives you endurance, the ability to keep walking in faith even when the destination feels far. Every disciplined moment, every small act of consistency builds strength that will carry you through seasons of difficulty. When others give up, the disciplined heart keeps going. And that persistence is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Discipline also brings peace because it removes the chaos of indecision. When you have clear principles and habits, you don't waste energy on confusion or hesitation. You know what you stand for, what you value, and what you are working toward. That clarity brings stability to your mind and focus to your actions. Discipline doesn't imprison you, it liberates you. It sets boundaries that protect your peace, time, and energy. You stop scattering yourself in too many directions and start investing deeply in what truly matters. Over time, that focus compounds into mastery. It's not that disciplined people never struggle, it's that they have learned to keep moving forward through struggle. Their faith and structure give them resilience that comfort can never provide. Faith and discipline together form a powerful partnership. Faith gives you vision, discipline gives you movement. Faith says, I can do this. Discipline says, I will do it daily. Faith keeps your spirit alive while discipline keeps your steps steady. When you merge the two, you become unstoppable. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. You stop waiting for perfect moments and start creating them through consistent effort. The storms of life may come, but they no longer destroy your peace. They simply reveal how deeply your roots have grown through the daily practice of faith and discipline. And in that stillness and steadiness, life begins to align naturally, because when your heart is firm, everything around you finds its balance. When your heart and mind are aligned, life begins to move in harmony. There is a quiet power that flows from within when your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are in agreement. It's like tuning an instrument. When the strings are out of balance, the sound is harsh and chaotic, but when each one is adjusted to the right pitch, music flows effortlessly. The same is true for life. When your inner world is in disarray, everything around you feels heavy and confusing. But when peace lives in your heart and clarity fills your mind, circumstances begin to organize themselves naturally. What once felt forced starts to unfold with ease because the energy you send out aligns with the order you've created within. Life does not change simply because we wish it to. It changes when we change. The moment you stop fighting the storms outside and start calming the storms within, everything begins to shift. Your relationships become gentler, your decisions become wiser, and your path becomes clearer. The truth is, the outer world is a mirror reflecting your inner state. When your thoughts are filled with doubt, you see uncertainty everywhere. When your heart is filled with gratitude, you begin to see blessings in even the smallest things. The power to shape your reality lies in your ability to nurture peace within yourself. Once your heart is right, life responds accordingly. People often try to fix the symptoms of life without addressing the source. They chase after better jobs, better relationships, or better environments, thinking that happiness will come from those changes. But no external achievement can create lasting peace if the inner foundation is unstable. It is like trying to build a beautiful house on broken ground. No matter how impressive it looks, it will eventually collapse. Real change starts from the inside out. When your thoughts are pure, your emotions calm, and your intentions sincere, the world around you adjusts to reflect that inner order. The right people enter your life, the right doors open, and the right timing unfolds. It isn't coincidence, it's alignment. This alignment doesn't mean life becomes perfect or free of challenges. It means that challenges no longer shake your core. When your heart and mind are united in peace, you develop resilience, a deep knowing that no matter what happens, you will remain grounded. You no longer react impulsively to every situation, you respond with wisdom. You stop chasing control and start practicing trust. You learn to let go of what doesn't serve you, because you know that anything meant for you will never require you to lose yourself to keep it. That quiet trust becomes your anchor, and from that stillness, strength grows. When your inner world is balanced, your energy becomes magnetic. You begin to attract situations that match your frequency. People who were once distant begin to connect with you on a deeper level. Opportunities that once seemed far begin to flow naturally. It's not that the world suddenly changes, it's that your perception of it does. You see with clear eyes, think with greater wisdom, and act with deeper purpose. You stop living from a place of reaction and start living from intention. And in that space, everything that once felt impossible begins to take form, because life always aligns with the clarity of your inner vision. Inner alignment also brings freedom from unnecessary struggle. You no longer waste energy trying to force outcomes or control what's beyond your reach. You learn to surrender, not in weakness, but in wisdom. You trust that what is meant for you will not miss you, and what is not meant for you will fall away peacefully. That trust creates ease. You move through life with grace rather than resistance. Your heart becomes lighter, your mind quieter, and your steps more purposeful. The chaos around you may continue, but it can no longer enter you, because peace has become your natural state. When the heart and mind move as one, life finds its rhythm. You no longer need to chase alignment, you become alignment itself. Your presence brings calm, your actions carry clarity, and your path becomes a reflection of your inner peace. The outer world simply falls into place, not because everything is perfect, but because you are. And in that harmony, you discover the profound truth that the world changes not when you fix it, but when you heal within. My dear friends, as we come to the end of this message, remember this: life is not about chasing everything around you. It is about returning to the center within you. When you focus on yourself, when you nurture your mind, your heart, and your spirit, you begin to live from a place of alignment and strength. The storms may still come, but you will no longer be shaken by them. The noise of the world may still echo, but it will no longer drown your peace. Everything in life begins to fall into place when your inner world is calm, when your faith is firm, and when your purpose is clear. Stop looking outside for what can only be found within. The answers you seek are already inside you, waiting for you to be still enough to hear them. The growth you desire will not come from comparison or competition, but from discipline, belief, and alignment. Take care of your thoughts, for they shape your reality. Take care of your heart, for it determines the quality of your life. Take care of your spirit, for it is the source of your strength. You were created with divine potential. It's time to trust that truth. When you focus on becoming whole within, the world around you begins to reflect that wholeness. Doors open, relationships heal, opportunities appear, and life flows with a grace that cannot be explained, only experienced. So today, make a promise to yourself to focus not on the noise, but on your growth, not on pleasing others, but on fulfilling your purpose, not on fear, but on faith. Because when you rise within, everything around you rises too. You are stronger than your struggles, wiser than your worries, and more capable than your doubts. Keep walking in alignment, keep growing in silence, and trust that in due time, everything will fall beautifully into place. Thank you, my dear brothers and sisters, for taking the time to listen, to open your hearts, and to reflect deeply on this message. May these words remind you of the power that already lives within you. May peace fill your heart, clarity guide your steps, and faith strengthen your path. Remember, when you focus on yourself with love, growth, and purpose, the world begins to mirror that love back to you. Stay faithful, Stay grounded and keep believing that your best days are not behind you. They are still ahead. Thank you, and may grace and peace be with you always. Chuan Ti Din Duan, Chuan Ti Di Buen.